So here we go with tonight's confession, which comes from Geography Jeff. All right, now we worked very hard making this acceptable for family listening. Geography Jeff says, Father Simon, Sister Susie and Brother Matt, this is another confession from the noble profession of teaching. I say noble, but having listened to your confessions, I can't help but notice that a disproportionate proportion of wrongdoing seem to stem from teachers. As a teacher for perhaps too many years in a London comprehensive, I'd like to think that during school hours I have a good nose for extraordinary excuses, lamentable lies, dodgy dealings and covert canoodling. But the mysterious thing is that as soon as I leave school each day, the teacher radar switches off and I join the ranks of the innocent and naive. Let me take you back to a warm summer afternoon as I trundled home after another day waxing lyrical about Oxbow Lakes, terminal moraine and demographic transition model. Classic geography.
Classic.
We're already in there. As usual, I walked a mile or so home through a local park. Now, said park is situated on a steep hill, levelling off towards the top, where you'll often find games of football of the jumpers for goalposts ilk. To one side of the plateau, here you could tell Jeff is the geographer, the ground sloped down to a gurgling stream. Not so much gurgling, more of an almost stagnant slurry of polluted water with the odd shopping trolley thrown in for good measure. Anyway, fairly often I would pass a group of boys from the school playing football at the top of the hill. Not being much of a footballer myself, and usually weighed down by a bag of heavy marking, it was no coincidence that the ball often was miskicked my way, only to be followed, "Oi, sir, give us the ball, take a shot, sir." I was always disappointed. They were always disappointed with a tame side-footed pass to the nearest player. On the afternoon in question, I was walking up the steep path that ran around the perimeter of the park when I noticed a couple walking down the hill towards me, lovingly wrapped in each other's arms. As I approached the lovebirds, they took over the full width of the path, and it dawned on me that they were deliberately blocking me, and both had mischievous smiles on their faces. "Excuse me," says the gentleman, "do you have a minute?" He held out his phone. "Would you take a photograph of us?" Perhaps there was an accompanying wink, but he may have been just squinting at the sun. All right, I said. What can go wrong? This is just an innocent couple seeking to capture their undying love in digital permanency. Still with my brain several vital seconds behind actual events, I turned to face them, having somehow found his phone in my hand, held aloft to take a photo. No problem, I thought. One quick photo, I'll be on my way. Click, it was done. Two lovers posing at the camera. "There you go," I said, holding out the phone for them to take back. But no hand extended towards me. "No, we'd like a few more, please," said the lady. "We'd like to kiss while you photograph us."
No.
"Oh, okay," I said in a slightly quivering voice. I was now beginning to suspect something was a little odd, but in typically British fashion, I didn't want to seem rude, so I complied with their request. It was just then that the lady
Oh, no.
seemed to realise what a hot day it was.
Oh, dear.
And that making the decision to wear a long mac had clearly been an error of judgment. So, in an apparent effort to cool down, she began unbuttoning her coat to reveal her work clothes. When I say work clothes, it was now apparent that she'd come straight from her job as a domestic servant, or maid, and a rather poorly paid one at that, because her uniform was ill-fitting. But another couple of photos and I'd be on my way. Click, click, once again I went to pass the phone back.
Yeah.
Not quite yet, said the gentleman. A sense of dread crept over me. "Would you mind filming us?" said the gentleman, with a glint in his eye. Somewhat belatedly, my teacher took a lot out there. Somewhat belatedly, my teacher radar kicked in, and my inner voice screaming, "This is suspicious. Get out before your career ends on the front page of the local paper." I swiftly declined with a firm and overly polite, "I don't think so, thank you very much."
No.
But as I was about to pass the phone back, something hit the back of my leg. I turned to see a football. "Oi, sir, kick the ball back." I was now in quite a compromising position. Facing the group of boys with expectant faces waiting for my feeble attempt to kick the ball back, I was desperately trying to shield their view from the couple in their working clothes behind me, terrified that they might assume I was participating in the sort of movie which certainly wouldn't be shown at the end of term.
No.
So I did the one thing I could think of. I picked up the ball, drop-kicked it with all my adrenaline-fueled might. It sailed over their heads, with their eyes drawn skyward, following the arc of the ball. I hurriedly gave back the phone and took off as fast as my walking legs could carry, to the size of, "Oi, sir, what's your problem?" from the football boys. And "Here, mister, don't be like that," from the now slightly frustrated gentleman and his amorous if ill-dressed companion. So anyway, I need to ask for forgiveness, not from the couple in question for not getting a much-wanted video to watch in years to come. Frankly, they should have been at home. And also not from the boys. They clearly, they enjoyed all of that stuff. But from the one boy in particular who found himself having to paddle in a polluted stream to retrieve the ball because my mighty kick had sent the ball over the boys and down the hill into the septic stream below. As a footnote, I am now a head teacher, and I drive to school simply to avoid similar situations. On the odd occasion we're called to sort out an after-school fight in the park. I pass the site, and the incident and the horror comes flooding back. Perhaps your forgiveness will rid me of this haunting memory, and I can once again walk through the park without fear. Well, I mean, I'm used to a lot of these confessions, and this one took a sort of slightly surprising turn. I wasn't really quite sure where it was heading. Anyway, with a swift edit, I think we got there.
Yeah.
Geography Jeff, the teacher, would like your forgiveness. Sister Susie from the pub.
Well, Geography Jeff, what an afternoon, hey? What a walk from home. I feel like you didn't really do that much wrong. I feel like your radar needs a little work. It's a bit rusty. You should probably... It should probably go a little bit before you get yourselves a bit too farther in the situation. But also, you've got to think of the little boy who went into the stream, didn't have to go into the stream to get the ball. So you could just bought him a new one.
Buy him a new ball?
Buy him a new ball.
Hang on. Anyway, so what you're saying?
Oh, but I am going to forgive
You
him.
are going to forgive. Okay, Brother Matthew.
Certainly my walk back through the park tonight after the show has taken on a certain edge. I think this, I mean, what exactly what was their plan?
Well,
what we're going to do, dear, is we're going to go to the park and just hopefully run into someone who's prepared to take the photos. I'm going to forgive, but mainly because one of the most stressful things I find when I'm going in a park and going past people playing football is that the ball will come anywhere near me, and in my work boots I will then sky it or shank it into a stream, or it'll go somewhere nowhere near them. So definitely forgiven, because we could all imagine where that one was